move to Texas. All right, so we're going to, and a lot of you should be familiar with this because y'all had 7th grade Texas history, except for you, right? Did everybody have 7th grade Texas history? All right, who did? Oh, 7th grade was a horrible time. You probably don't remember 7th grade. Okay.
Okay. Teacher like did half of it, and then
they went into U.S. I hear.
I just didn't do it.
No, we didn't know anything about the U.S.
Okay. You weren't here. Okay, I'm gonna go over it. Okay. I'm going to go over a little bit of Texas history. Sometimes it's going to rejot your memory. For some of us, it will not rejot our memory. So Texas, remember in that Florida Purchase Treaty, we get Florida, but we give up what? And because of soil butchery, right? The soil is getting more resources or it's depleting its resources? Depleting because they're not doing crop rotations. Many Southern Americans, like I'm talking about in the South, that are U.S. citizens, want to move west because they need new land. And we're going to see Moses Austin is originally given permission to move Americans into Mexico, which is Texas, as long as they adhere to a couple of things. Moses will not come, but his son, Stephen F. Austin, that's in 34, he's going to be able to bring the family. So he's going to be given huge land tracts by what government? What government? Mexico. So that's 34. But what's going to cause friction is these Mexican stipulations in number 35. The first thing is all these Americans coming into Mexico that are migrating here must become Catholic. Does that kind of go against the American credo? What American credo do we have? Freedom of religion. So do you think they're going to really become Catholic? No. Okay, so first success or unsuccessful thing on immigration. Is this successful or unsuccessful for them? Unsuccessful. The second thing, they must become Mexicanized. And what this means to become Mexicanized is you must learn Spanish and you must adhere to their cultural traditions. Do you think they're going to do this? No. No. So this is one of the things in 35 of what caused frictions. The next thing is most Texans ignore these requirements and they continue to have their freedom of religion and speaking English. And so the other thing that is going to lead to frictions is the Texans are going to resent the presence of Mexican troops here. Because what do you think these Mexican troops are going to try to make sure that they're doing? They're speaking the language, they're adhering to the customs, and they're becoming what? Catholic. And when these troops don't see that the Texans are doing this, are they going to report? Are they going to try to force them to do this? And so this is why the Americans who are now in Mexico are going to rile up and revolt. And so the friction is going to occur over slavery. Here's some other things. The immigration and local rights. What immigration issues do you think they have with? The Catholic, the language, and the customs. Okay, slaves. Mexico has actually abolished slavery. Do you think these people are going to adhere to that? No, they are not following the rules, and this is what's going to lead to friction. So do y'all all got 35 now? Basically, everything on this slide is number 35. So, and y'all have that PowerPoint, so you don't need to write it down. So, Stephen F. Austin, we see that his settlers have issues with what? What are the things that I talked about before? They can't have what? They can't have freedom of religion. They can't have what else? Slaves. What do they have to speak? Spanish. What customs, right? Mexican customs they have to adhere to. So Stephen F. Austin is going to go down to Mexico City. And we're going to see, he's going to ask Santa Anna to negotiate the differences. Santa Anna is not a negotiating guy, and he puts him in jail for 8 years. Like, what do you think? What do you think the Americans are going to do? Try to get him out, right? And amidst all of this, we're going to see Santa Anna says no. He's going to take away all their rights. Doesn't this sound like the American Revolution? They had stuff, now it's being taken away. What are they going to do? Just like they've learned in the American Revolution, when your rights are taken away, what do? Rebel. You rebel first and then secede. Okay? So Santa Anna is going to begin to raise an army to go against the Texans. what will happen is y'all probably know this guy. We go down 45. Y'all seen that big statue of him? Yes, no? Okay. We're going to see that he's going to be the commander of the Texas Army. So who does he sound like? From the American Revolution, who does he sound like? George Washington. He's supposed to unite all the Texans together. And so we see Sam Houston, along with many other Texans who are Americans, are going to meet on Washington on the Brazos, and they're going to declare their independence. Doesn't this sound exactly like the American Revolution? And so amidst all of this, we're going to see Santa Anna. Is he going to take this? He's going to send in troops. Y'all probably know the Battle of the Alamo. Remember that? Where we had some people come help. Were they all Texans here? Where do we see people come in from? What state? Tennessee. And so the University of Tennessee, if y'all know, do y'all know, like UT is the Longhorns, do y'all know what their mascot is? The Volunteers, because of what they do to help in Texas. We're going to see some very famous people. Y'all should probably remember. Do you remember these guys? David Bowie. Who else? David Crockett. You don't remember the last guy? It's okay. Hey, our last battle, because you won't be tested on it, I'm just rejotting your memory. Our last battle is the Battle of San Jacinto. Do y'all remember this battle? This is where they surrender, and there's a reason why they surrender. Santa Anna is taking a siesta. And they take advantage of him because his siesta is like doing a little bit more than just siestaing. And so when they find him, there's going to be, have y'all heard the story of the two soldiers who go out, and when you go out to go potty, you go out in the frontier a little bit, and you go and do your business. Well, when they were coming back, they saw Santa Anna with the yellow rose of Texas. They didn't teach you this in 7th grade? Okay, because probably more than PG-13. Okay. They find Santa Anna with the yellow rose of Texas. And they find him in an indisposed, right? In an improper stuff. And so he has to surrender. So at the Battle of San Jacinto, there's a battle going on, but they're able to capture Santa Anna because these two guys go on a potty break. And when they're coming back, who do they see? Santa Anna with the yellow rose of Texas in their siesta. He surrenders. Okay, sorry. We just got very rated R quickly. Okay, so Sam Houston has been capture Santa Anna. Y'all know how it happens, right? We'll just leave it like that. There's a surprise attack during his siesta. Is it a real siesta? No, they couldn't have taught you this in 7th grade. Y'all would have been rolling over laughing the whole entire time, your teacher. That's why she went on to 8th grade history. So Santa Anna signs a treaty. Why does he have to sign a treaty?
He can't break a treaty.
He can't break a treaty, but what has happened? Is he kind of like in the loser role here? Yes. And so in this treaty, we're going to see, this is 36. What are the terms? He's going to withdraw Mexican troops. So who's won? The Texans, right? He's going to withdraw the troops. He's going to recognize the Rio Grande as the border. And, okay. Don't worry about this one. It's the first two. The first two are the terms for 36. So many Texans had been supplied by Americans from what state specifically? Not Texas. What state had supplied the Texans? Tennessee. And we're going to see Mexico resented this. They said this was a disregard for American neutrality. And so because of those Tennessee people, he's going to basically say that this treaty is null and void. He says they caught me and I was in a bad position. And America was not neutral. And so Texas is really not independent. So do you think the United States at this time wants to annex Texas? Because if they did, who would this lead to war with? Mexico. So there's a lot of issues that we're going to see on 37 of why the U.S. refuses. The first thing, Jackson's going to recognize its existence. For you to be a nation, someone has to say that you're an actual nation. But there's going to be some issues. In 1837, Texas will petition for statehood. this is the issue, what prevents it. If Texas were to come in, this could be turned into 5 different slave states, which would give the South a favorable balance where? Free versus slave states, where else would it be? In the House and then in the Senate. And Northern abolitionists are going to say, no, don't bring Texas in, because it would, what have we been trying to keep? That balance between what? Free slave. By letting Texas in, and the potential for it to be 5 states would do what? Upset this balance. I know Texas doesn't look like Texas you're used to, right? Eventually later I'm going to give it the panhandle we know. Okay, so just be okay with it in this shape. So, what big issue prevents Texas from coming in? One word. Slavery. That's the first issue, because Texas could turn into how many slave states? 5. So do you now know why Texas stays in its big shape? When it's led into the Union, they're okay with Texas being that big, because how many slave states does it mean? 1. That's why Texas is so big. Okay, it dealt with slavery. Okay, the second issue. We know slavery, we know the Northern abolitionists. So Texas will become a Lone Star state. This is why, and there's another state that has the same history of Texas, that it tries to come in at the Union, they do not let it in, and it becomes an independent republic. Anybody can guess? It's very tropical. Hawaii has the same history as Texas. Hawaii will not be allowed in. It will become its own independent republic, and then eventually later it will be led into the Union. Okay. So let's look at question 31. If you didn't know the candidates in question 31, here they are. Martin Van Buren, and this is before the panic. So do you think he's going to be popular? Before the bank panic. Yes. And then we have William Henry Harrison, who's a Whig. So where does Martin Van Buren represent on this map right here? The South and the West. Where does William Henry Harrison represent? The North. So who's going to win? This is before the panic. Who wins? Martin Van Buren. He's going to win because he has the popular vote. Do y'all get 31? Okay. From 36 to 40. What has happened to Martin Van Buren? What big issue has happened in his presidency? The panic. So what has happened to our economic system? It's gone down in the gutter, and who do they blame? Van Buren. Do they blame Jackson? No, but was Jackson's actions of what led to the panic? So now we have this election, and this is question 40. We have Martin Van Buren. What party is he from? Democrats. What issue has tarnished his administration? The panic. So that's what you should have on that first line. We have William Henry Harrison. He's a Whig. And what does that mean? Is he for the rich or is he for the poor? The rich. So the moment he goes out there saying, I want a bus, I want a tariff, I want roads and canals, who is not going to vote for him? The South and the West. So do you think he's going to say anything? This is why this question was hard, because his issue is he's issueless. He has no platform. Because the moment he says, I'm for a bus, who is he going to exclude? The moment he says he's for a tariff, who is he going to exclude? The moment he says he's for roads and canals, who is he going to exclude? South. Okay? So does this guy ever say anything? No. The moment he's going to say what people he's for, who is he going to say? The North, who are what? Rich merchants. So does this guy say anything? No. They refuse. They say, please don't say anything. Because the moment you say anything, you will ruin your chances at the presidency. So, this election, the Whigs nominate Harrison because he's a war hero. And they tell him not to do what? Talk. And so what was the Whig platform? Nothing. Because the moment he said anything, what was going to happen? The irony with this guy is that he goes the whole campaign not saying anything. So when he gets inaugurated, do you think he wants to give a long inaugural speech? And it's a very cold winter day in March. in DC. He does it without an overcoat. He gives his speech, gets pneumonia, and dies. Gosh, they would only let him talk. But what would I know the irony of this? That's why there's 4 of them in this row, because Harrison's at the top, and Harrison goes in and he dies after this long inaugural speech because they don't let him say anything. So I had to end the story for y'all, but y'all get how. So what they're gonna say, their campaign is called the Log Cabin and Hard Cider. Log Cabin is to tell me he's rich or he's poor. He's born in a log cabin. Poor. He drinks hard cider. He's poor. Is he a poor man? No. They're purposely saying that he was born in a log cabin and he drinks hard cider to appeal to what regions of America? The South and the West. And so Harrison had no enemies. He was a war hero. The Whigs have no platform because if they said anything, who would not vote for them? The South and the West. Harrison is characterized as a poor farmer, born in a log cabin who drank hard cider. And we're going to see the Whigs characterize Van Buren as a rich aristocrat who drinks champagne. Harrison wins because he doesn't what? Talk. So changes in American politics. This is 39. It had to be a democratic style. You have to appeal to who? The rich or the poor? The poor. Aristocracy and culture and intellect are now seen as negative. We're going to see Daniel Webster apologize because he was born rich. People are going to try to act what? Rich or poor? Poor. They're going to try to appeal to the mobocracy. We're going to see that politicians now had to reach out to the common man. So this is all of 39. Can y'all write it on your slide? This is all of 39. Because I'm going to get you to 40. And I have like 3 minutes. Okay. So the emergence of the two-party system. This is how are parties similar? Do y'all see that on 40, the second part? They had to appeal to the classes, all classes. They could not take extreme positions. They had to compromise. And they're all over the place. They're going to be in the north, south, and west. The last thing on here, oh, it's not here. This is for 40. What were the beliefs on each side? Do y'all see that on your study guide on 40? Okay. I started the class off bad because what has happened to the bank? It destroyed, did it hurt the rich and the poor? Yes. Okay, because what has happened to the amount of gold in our economy? It's gone down. Why did Jackson want to remove the Indians? What was found on their land? Did he listen to the Supreme Court and their treaty rights? No. And now we gone to Texas, got Texas. Now both our parties seem similar, right? Okay, we got through this. Next time we'll do review quiz and we'll do